We are back for another book series that I'm in the middle of and trying to bring down that number. I don't really know how to title this series, but I will get there eventually. But this is part 2 of trying to read through book series that I'm in the middle of, because I have figured out that I am in the middle of way too many and it's just getting a bit nuts in here. And every time I think I'm reading through my book series that I'm in the middle of and I'm bringing down that number, 3 more seem to crop out of nowhere. I don't know what's going on. It is what it is. But I have 4 books that I am planning on reading in this reading vlog and bringing down that number just that tiny little bit. 2 of them are actually on my December TBR, so I think this is going to be a great way of actually reading my December TBR rather than, well, not reading my TBR, because that seems to be the trend going on with me at the moment. But I'm tentatively excited for some of these, and I think it's going to be very interesting. So the first book is The Rebel Witch by Kristen Cincerelli. This has been on my TBR for way too long. I just keep putting it off. This is book 2 in the duology, The Crimson Moth. I liked book 1. I liked The Crimson Moth, but it didn't really live up to the hype that it was having, and I just felt like I was either missing something or I didn't really I don't know, I didn't enjoy it as much as people seemed to, and it just kind of made me a little bit less excited about reading book 2. So it's been on my TBR since its release, and because I pre-ordered book 2, and I just need to read it, get it out of the way, get it done. And it might be a case that I like book 2 way more than I did like book 1. I do still remember what happened in The Crimson Moth, so I don't think I really need to reread The Crimson Moth. I can just go straight into The Rebel Witch. And, you know, I've been looking at it, it's been staring at me, it's been telling me it needs to be read, and I'm just like, what if I don't like it? Even more than I didn't like book 1. Well, I didn't not like book 1, I just didn't love book 1. So, this is book 1 on the TBR for this reading vlog, and then we have Kingdom of Claw by Debbie Winters. This has been another one that has been on my TBR for way too long, and I keep looking at it and I'm like, I need to pick this up at some point, and I keep putting it off because, again, it's the case of I liked The Road of Bones, I didn't love it. I did have some things that I did think that I could have enjoyed if it had more elements of certain things that happened in that book 1, but because of that, it kind of impacted the way I looked at book 2 and just not being as excited for book 2 and kind of tried to get into this story a little bit more. I am also very confused about the cover of this, because isn't she a redhead? Or have I forgotten something that happened? Anyway, this is also one of the books I'm going to read. It is on my December TBR, so it'll be a great way to kind of check this off the list of book series I'm middle of and my December TBR, and just see if it's another case of I like book 2 more than I liked book 1, because that does happen, and it's much thicker, so it makes me think that there's a lot more going on in here than there was in book 1, and I guess we'll see. I do also think that the novella is out, or is about to be out, and then the next full-size book is about to be out quite soon, so it'll be good to get reacquainted with this world and see if I want to continue the series in the future. A World of Ruins, which is the 3rd and final book in the Solarius and Crello trilogy. As I've said before, I loved book 1. I didn't really like book 2. I just felt like there was some things that were a bit misleading, and I kind of thought that we were getting hints at this bigger plot element, and then it didn't seem like we really got to properly discover that, and then it kind of seemed like there's no way that this is going to be an actual plot line, because if the 3rd and final book is out and I feel like it would be too late to explore in this book if it felt like it should have happened already. So cautiously tentative about going into this book and seeing if I'm going to enjoy it at all. But if I don't like it, I think I'm just going to DNF it. I'm not going to force myself to read a book I don't like. But it's going to be really annoying, because I like the plot, I like characters, I like the world. I just didn't like how they were kind of built up and kind of brought together and stuff like that. So I guess we'll see how that goes in book 3. And then finally, Evermore, which is the final book in the duology, Nevermore being the first one, by Miranda Lynn. I'm really, really excited about this. This is like going to be the start of this reading vlog. Nevermore was one of my best books of... Did I read it this year? I did read it this year, I think. Yeah, it's one of my best books of the year, I think. It's definitely going to be, unless this beats it out. But I'm really excited and also really scared, because first of all, the series is going to be over. The duology is going to be over. And the story for these characters is going to be over. And also the way book 1 ended, it just really broke my heart. And I know the beginning of this is going to be really hard to get through, and it's going to be tough to see how the characters kind of get on after the way book 1 ended and all the discoveries that were made and the betrayal. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one, but I think I'm going to start the reading vlog with this one. First of all, it's smaller, it's the third and final book, which will make it, I don't know, it'll wrap up an entire series. Oh wait, 3 of these books will wrap up an entire series for me. Oh, that worked out quite well. Anyway, it's paperback, it's easy, it's quick to read. I read both of the books in one sitting, so I think this is going to be the same, and it'll just get out of the way, and I'm just like in limbo with this book about whether it's going to be good or not, and I just want to know. So I'm going to start this reading vlog with A World of Ruin by Rita Vasquez. And that is the TBR for this reading vlog. Let's see how this goes, I guess. I will give an update when I'm some way through A World of Ruins. Well, this vlog is not going to plan. I'm 67 pages into A World of Ruins, and it's looking like a DNF. And I'm trying to be stricter with books that I do DNF, because I don't have enough time in my life to be reading books that I'm just not enjoying, and I just feel so disconnected from the story and the characters. It just is that we got introduced to many elements from book 1. There was loads of hits, and I thought, cool, we're going to really fully explore that in book 2. We're going to get answers, things are going to really kick off. But it didn't. It was like that big supposed plot twist came into book 2, and I was just like, well, there's this whole other element that I thought we were kind of leading up to, and there's going to be like a huge clue, and it was going to be part of the plot, but it's kind of been hinted at but ignored, and we don't really have any answers to that. I'm sorry if the lighting is absolute bollocks, but I'm making do with the fact that it is winter. That it is winter, and there's just, the lighting is going to be rubbish. Anyway, yeah, there was this element of the plot that I thought was being hinted at and was going to be explored. In book 2, we were going to really dive in deep to those 2 elements being joined together. And it was like one element was further explored, it being the Solas and Crello trilogy, but it just felt very stagnant. It felt like we had this huge plot twist, it wasn't really properly explored, and then I'm into 67 pages in, and it just feels like, how is this the final book when nothing has progressed? How is this like, I just feel like the ending of this is going to be really disappointing and just a waste of my time, because nothing's happened. Like, nothing, the big element that was like the huge plot twist at the end and who they were, like, nothing has progressed. Like, it just doesn't feel like this is supposed to be the 3rd book. If anything, things should have progressed. I think that's why I really did, well, it is why I really didn't like book 2, because it just felt really slow, stagnant. Nothing was progressing in the fact that it was a completed trilogy, and it just, I'm 67 pages in, and I'm just really not enjoying it. So I think I'm going to read to page 100. If I still feel that disconnect to the plot, the characters, and just not really caring what's happening, I think it's going to be a DNF, and then I'm just going to move on to the next book that I'm supposed to read in this reading vlog. And since starting that intro, and where I told you the books I'm going to read, I've discovered a lot of other book series I'm in the middle of, but I think I'm going to read those specific books because I think they're quite a very specific, more like genre together in another reading vlog, and I think they're going to be their own kind of thing. Anyway, I don't know why I'm going on a tangent about that, but let's give it a shot. Alright, well, I'm 171 pages in, which is 71 pages more than I intended to read. And I did think it was potentially getting better, but it's not. It's really not. I don't care. I don't care what's happening. I don't care what the resolution is going to be. I'm just bored. Yeah, I think that's it. This is gonna be a DNF for me, which is a bit disappointing, but I'm not gonna force myself to read this when I really, really want to read my old book or the next book in this reading vlog, which is The Rebel Witch. I'm gonna try and read The Rebel Witch next. Alright, I am moving on to the next book series that I'm in the middle of. The Rebel Witch by Kristin Cesarelli. This has actually been on my TBR for too long. I can't believe how long it's taken me to pick this up. Mostly because I just feel like I haven't really been in on a YA witchy read. I also wasn't that impressed. Like, I liked the first book, but I wasn't in love with it. So I didn't feel any sort of excitement or anxiousness to pick this series up. But I am doing it. I am picking up the second and final book in the duology, and I feel like I'm going to read this pretty quickly because the font is huge. It's not that long of a read, and it's a YA, so they are 10, well, I remember Crimson Moth was pretty easy to fly through, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick up The Rebel Witch. I'm hoping this isn't going to be like a trigger DNF book series vlog. We'll see how this goes. I don't expect to love it. I think I hopefully will like it, but I fear that I am not really in the mood to pick up a YA book at the moment. But this is one of the books that I did set on my TBR for December, and it's also one of the books that I set for this vlog of reading book series that I'm in the middle of, so I kind of can't put it off any longer, and I feel like I'll always come up with excuses to not pick this up, so I just need to dive in and read it. So we'll see how this goes. I did pre-order her newest release, which is New Adult. That I think I'm gonna really like. I don't think I'm gonna love it because I'm reserving hope, but I do feel like I'm just more in a place where I like new adult reads at the moment, so I'm hoping that I'm going to enjoy that a lot more than I did the Crimson Moth book. But yeah, picking up the second book in this book series is I'm in the middle of. I'm 50% the way through The Rebel Witch, and I'm so happy that I was forced to pick this up because I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I think I definitely prefer book 2 to book 1, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's more happening, there's a lot more surprises, the relationships are a lot more complicated, but I'm not a fan of the miscommunication trope, but for some reason I am liking it in this because it's not just miscommunication. It's like they're going to believe what they're going to believe. I don't think I'm going to be able to change that, so what's the point on spending my energy to do so? They're going to hate me either way. So I really like that mentality because it's like I'm not going to reduce myself for anyone. So yeah, I am far more liking book 2 to book 1. I think book 1 was a bit slower. It was a bit more, there was not a lot at stake, which is crazy to say so because obviously there was quite a bit at stake, but there's a lot more at stake. There is a lot more happening. The plot is progressing far more quickly. We're already acclimated with this world, so we don't have a ton of world building, and I'm just enjoying myself. I'm flying through this a lot more than I thought I was going to. I do think I'm going to try and finish this today just so that I can go for my next read, and I'm so happy that that my little red cup forced me to pick this up, that I'm finally knocking this off my TBR, because I genuinely thought I was going to get to a point where I was just going to unhaul it and not even bother to read it. So I'm quite happy that I'm giving it a shot and I'm enjoying it. So yeah, I'm on chapter 43. Things are a lot more complicated, even though a lot of things have cleared the air. There's still obviously reasons why things can't happen. So yeah, I'm very interested to see how this is all going to come to its conclusion and how things are going to work out, because I genuinely can't see the way out of this, especially with the insane, I mean, I saw it coming, but I'm still wondering how this factor is going to play in. Like, what does this mean for the plot, and how is this going to save everyone? So yeah, 43 chapters in and I'm really enjoying myself. I did not think I was going to be saying that. I fear this is not going to end well. But I'm scared. If I don't read on, it never happened. If I don't read on, I don't know if it resolves itself. Like I suspect it might, because I feel like it was hinted. What if I'm wrong? It may have taken a long time to get here, but we got here, and I'm so happy we did. I did it. Do you know what? I really feared that I was going to have a second DNF, because the Crimson Moth wasn't my favourite, and although I didn't hate it, I was just a bit disappointed by it. I think it was because like I said, it'd been so hyped up, and when I read it I was expecting it to be something absolutely out of this world when I wasn't in the place to read YA books, so I didn't really love it as much as everyone else. But book two was phenomenal. I was absolutely captivated from page one. It took me some time, like a couple pages, to remember everything that happened in the Crimson Moth, but it was so easy to fall back in. And I think I read the Crimson Moth 2 years ago. Like, this has been on my TBR for a hot minute. Like, I pre-ordered this, so this came out in, there's no way this came out in 2025. It came out in 2025. Okay, it has not been on my TBR that long. Wow. I thought this was on my TBR for like 2 years. It's not been that long, but still, I read the Crimson Moth 2 years ago at least. It must have come out in 2024, a year and a half ago then, and it was just okay. It was average. I genuinely think book two is the crown of the show. And what's really funny is today I was watching one of my favorite booktubers. What M reads? No, that's someone else. I can't remember what her username is, but she was doing a tour of her bookshelves, and she was talking about The Rebel Witch and how it was her favourite out of the duology. And I was like, okay, so I'm not the only one that thinks this is the better book out of the duology. This is a solid 4-star read. I would even dare to say 4.5. I absolutely loved this. I loved the twists in this. I loved how you never really knew where you sat with these characters and where they were going to go. They were constantly keeping you guessing, and I really enjoyed that element. And I felt like I was on the edge of my seat for the entire book. Obviously, a lot of things were easy to guess. Again, this is a YA, so I do tend to think that you can guess plots and plot twists in YAs quite easily, but there was definitely a big plot twist that I did see coming, but it still was like really cool that I'd got it right, and then to see how it all accumulated, I think was really well done, and I really enjoyed this. So I definitely think I like Kristen Cesarelli's writing. I just don't think the Crimson Moth, I mean, there's always one book in a series that you prefer over the other. I think there's only one series that I don't have that with, and that's probably Lady of Darkness. Oh, actually no, book 4 and 5 is pretty much my favourite in the series. Okay, there is always one book or a couple books in a series that you prefer over another, and this is definitely the better one out, the Crimson Moth. So I definitely won't be unhauling the duology, because I really like this, and I feel like I could reread this if I need to get myself out of a reading slump, because it's just really easy to fall into. You're really captivated by the characters, the plot, you really don't know where you're going to go, you don't know how things are going to resolve itself. I mean, there was the ending of this, I really didn't guess. I didn't know how it was going to be resolved, and I was just waiting to see how that would happen. And yeah, 4.5. So we have our first success of this reading book series that I'm in the middle of, and I'm so excited. So the next book I'm going to read in this, I've already forgotten the books that I said I was going to read. I know Evermore was one. Was there 4 books I said? Or was it 3? So Evermore's the next one. I don't know when I'm going to pick up Evermore, to be quite honest. So this reading vlog might go a bit long because I really want to annotate Nevermore and then Evermore when I go into it. But I'm already annotating a pretty big series. So maybe we'll pick up a different book in between. If I could just remember what the book was that I said I was going to read. I do have Kingdom of Claw, but I really, really don't feel like picking that up. So maybe... Okay, I think I need to think about this and see what book I feel like picking up. So we will revisit this and I will let you know what I end up picking up.
It's been a few weeks since I last picked up a book of trying to get through the book series as I'm in the middle of, which is an ever-expanding pile, but I'm finally picking up Nevermore by Miranda Lynn. This is my reread in preparation for Evermore. I've added it to my January TBR. That's right, this vlog has gone from being started in 2025 to coming into 2026, but I think these are the final 2 books I'm going to read for this reading vlog. I'm really, really excited. I have already started it. I'm 86 pages in, and what can I say? I love this. So much happens within 80 pages, and it completely gut wrenches you, especially if you've read Till Death first, because you're even more committed to this character. You know what's happened, you know her backstory, you know what's been happening in her world and why she's so eager to get back. And I do think it's a bit spoilery to read this before Till Death, because Till Death's storyline goes into Nevermore, not with the same characters. Well, with the same characters, what am I saying? This is being so vague, but I don't want to ruin it too much. Read Till Death first, please. Even though it's in connected standalones / duologies, it still makes sense to read Till Death because there's so much information that you're given into Death that's so important going into Nevermore. I'm really excited. I'm like trying to find the clues of how did I miss the way this ended when I was reading this the first time. I'm trying so desperately to find those clues, so this is going to be really fun. Have no idea how Evermore is going to resolve what the fuck just happened, and I also have no idea how Evermore is going to explain what the fuck I just read. Genuinely have no idea what I'm in for. I really want to read Evermore right now, but I have such a headache. It's like right behind my eye. Maybe if I like pinch my eye. I really want to read Evermore now. It's 10 o'clock. Do I do it? I think I need to take some paracetamol. I have officially finished Nevermore, as you would have seen. Nevermore does not fail to just make my jaw drop with the way it ends. And so last night, even though it was so late, I immediately picked up Evermore because I needed to know. I need to wrap my head around the way that ended and why there were things that happened the way that they happened, like just to make sense of the utter chaos that ensued within that ending. And I do have a bit more clarity now having read Evermore. I am 110 pages in. there is still so much mystery wrapped up in this book. Like, there's still so many things we need to understand. We're being fed hints about this bigger plot and why things are happening the way they are happening because of this bigger plot. I'm just trying to put all the clues together and figure out what everything means, and just to get ahead of the game a little bit. But Miranda Lynn knows how to make a plot twist. So even though I think I'm putting things together, I'm probably wrong, because you can't trust anything within Miranda Lynn's books. So I'm 110 pages in. I'm absolutely floored. I'm having a blast. I had to put this down because it was like 2 a.m. I was absolutely exhausted and struggling to read. But if anything is to say how much I'm loving these books and how hard they are to put down, I had a killer migraine in my eye and I still didn't put this book down. I just pushed through. I had to push through because there was no way I was getting a wink of sleep with this in my brain. I needed at least some closure, and at least I did get a bit of closure. I've put the pieces together and why they happened the way they happened. Obviously there's still this bigger plot at play that I don't fully understand, and is why things were happening the way they were happening and why all the betrayal was happening. But oh my god, absolute chaos. Like, it was just impossible to put down. So I'm actually planning on finishing this today. So we're going to see if I can read Evermore within a day. I have 500 and something pages to read, but I have to know. Like, I need to know what this bigger plot is because I've not stopped thinking about it since I put it down last night. So those are my plans for today, and I will give you an update when I'm somewhat through this. Well, after a month of trying to get through series that I'm in the middle of, I've completed the TBR set on this reading vlog, bar one, Kingdom of Claw. I'm just not in a mood to read that, and I just don't think I'm gonna have a good time, and I don't want to prematurely DNF it just because I wasn't in the mood to read it. So I don't know when I'm gonna be in the mood to read that book, to be quite honest, but I'm not gonna extend this reading vlog any more than I already have. And I did lose some footage of my updates for Evermore, but I did finish this a few days ago now, and I'm still absolutely floored by it. It took a direction that I didn't see coming. So many things were thrown at us, but I just had a blast. I mean, you would have seen I was so stressed while reading this because I had no idea what was going to happen. How is it going to resolve itself? Were the characters going to be okay? What everything meant? And then the hint that Miranda Lynn was putting in this book for the future books. I'm just so excited. I cannot wait for the next book within the Never Sky series, the next installment. I think I know who it's going to be about, and if it is who I think it's going to be about, it's going to be insane because there's so much surrounding this character. I have no idea what her plot is going to be. I think the plot that we've had so far is kind of closed at the moment. We do have this, little plot that's been developing throughout all these books, and that's why I think this character is going to be the center of the next book, because that plot was about them. But I have no idea what it means for the world, how it's going to change things. And I really loved the epilogue in this book because it was just so sweet and just made me so excited. It was really cozy and just made me feel like at home with these characters, and I've grown so attached to the characters throughout every book because we get to see more of the characters, we get to see more of their history, what they're like and what they've gone through. And this character has gone through so much. It's actually insane, the trauma that she has throughout these books, but I love how it's not kind of passed over. I really appreciate that in books when trauma is actually given its due and is not just something that's a couple chapters and then they're all over it. Like, no, trauma is something residual. It stays with you, And I appreciate when an author is able to capture that and really make sure that we're aware and the character is aware that this is something they're having to go through and this is something that's always going to stay with them and they have to constantly work at, you know, working through and accepting and all that stuff. And I just, yeah, it was impossible to figure out that the direction the plot was going to go in went in this direction. And I loved it so much. I loved the mystery. I loved trying to figure out all the gods and their plans and why they were using some humans as pawns and all that stuff. And it was very, very surprising. So I'm very, very excited for the Never Sky series continuation. I don't know when that's going to be. I'm sure it's going to be a little while, but I think it's going to be worth the wait. In the meantime, I have Miranda Lynn's newest release, which is going to be in April, which is going to be so good. I'm obsessed with everything Miranda Lynn writes, and she's an auto-buy author for me, so I don't even need to look at a synopsis. It's just pre-order straight away, and I know it's going to be phenomenal, so I'm really, really excited. Anyway, enough of that tangent. This was an overwhelming 5-star. The Never Sky series is an overwhelming 5-star. We had a few surprises in this reading vlog. The Rebel Witch ended up being a very, very surprising read. I ended up enjoying myself so much more than I was expecting. I really thought I was going to end up DNFing that book, but I ended up loving it. I'm still very surprised by that. And we had one DNF, which was the one I was very surprised at. So that's it for this reading vlog. I will do a part 3 because I really do need to work through these book series I'm in the middle of. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!